the whispers of truth, to live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge. On the growing edge.
And now, here's Allie.
Hello and good morning. I'm Allie Benjamin, and this is Growing Edge Live, sponsored by Satya Center. And here we're all about inspiring minds, healing hearts, and transforming lives. And today we have a really special show for you, one that is perfect for this time of year as we're in the Thanksgiving week. And my guest today is someone that's going to truly bring us a gift and a blessing that we're going to feel so grateful for. And I'm very, very excited. So as you know, we are here having conversations with soul-centered individuals that are sharing their time, their talent, their energy, their resources, their love into doing good works in the world. And today, my guest, the beautiful, creative, inspiring Karen Drucker, who is, there she is. And Karen is someone that many of us know, especially here on New Thought Media Network. Many of us have grown on our spiritual path with the soundtrack of many of Karen's beautiful songs and chants. And so I'd like to introduce my friend and this beautiful singer-songwriter, author, retreat leader, comedian, and Karen Drucker. Welcome.
Wow. Well, wait a minute. That deserves a. My goodness, Allie. That's like to start the day with all of that.
Yes.
My heart is already filled. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, well.
So great you're doing this. I think it's wonderful. I think it's
Well,
wonderful.
thank you.
You are a wise woman, and to share your gifts with everyone on this kind of a platform, I just think is fabulous. So yay for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing this. You and I have talked a little bit about, well, I'll talk for myself. I really kind of shine here in my own little world. I'm not so much, I'm a little socially awkward. So being around a lot of people all the time can be a little overwhelming.
Me too.
So this kind of intimate thing, just me and my puppy over there and you right there in front of me, is really a beautiful platform for me and a way of sharing my ministry, my messages. It's a good fit for me.
Yeah. Do you know, are you an HSP? Do you know about that? The highly
Is
sensitive
that-
person?
Yeah.
It is. There's a thing. There's a book called from Elaine Aron. It's a whole movement, and there's a book called Quiet. That's a New York Times bestseller. But the highly sensitive person, when I read that, it was like so validating because I thought, wait a minute, I'm this performer. I'm out in front of, hundreds of people, and yet I'm exactly like you. I'm so much more comfortable when it's one-on-one. Yeah. And, because it used to be I would get off the stage, I had done a concert, and now people are coming up to my table to buy CDs, and the room would literally start spinning. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? And when I read this book, it was all about that you could be an introvert, which I am, an introvert with an extrovert job.
Exactly.
And,
and
that's what it is. It's like you have to realize what it is that you need to be able to do that extrovert job. And for me, and I'm sure this is the same for you, you have to be able to have a lot of alone time, quiet time. That, when I would go to a conference, I would just be exhausted by the time I left. And it was like, what is wrong with me? And after I read this book, it was really about that I just need a certain amount of time of just, being alone and quiet. And it's like she would talk about that when you were like this, you're literally filling up your well so that then you could go back out and be with people. But if you don't fill up your well, you get depleted and more depleted, and then you're just kind of a mess. But then, if I was that depleted, I would just keep drawing from my, inner reserves and just keep putting out that energy, but then just burned out. I mean, I'm sorry, but the pandemic for me, Like, really, I get to just be home now, and then learning about this platform and Zoom and,
Yeah.
doing classes online. I mean, all that stuff. It was really interesting. And now that things are starting to pick up again, I have to really watch my internal compass,
Hmm.
of how much I'm out in the world now, and
Yeah.
and
Do
what
you
that's.
notice a difference between, like, when you go to do, you go to a center, or you go to a conference or something, and you are around a lot of people since the pandemic, and since that, gosh, me too. I was like, "Ooh, time to paint and time to be
Yeah, right.
creative," and
Right.
so I find it different now, somewhat. It's
Totally.
everything seemed to change since that
Everything.
experience.
I totally agree. Everything has. And, I think that's what, when you're talking about with your title here, Growing Edge, that to me is our growing edge of like,
Hmm.
where are our new boundaries? Where
Hmm.
do we feel comfortable? What are we saying yes to that before we used to just say yes to it? And
Right.
now it's like, I feel like I'm in this deeper level of discernment of like,
Yes.
what really fills my heart? What do I feel called to do? I mean, I used to just say yes to everything. And, that was great. But I remember I found this button that said, stop me before I volunteer again, you know, because it's like, saying yes is great, but there's also this great expression that you could be a good person doing good service badly.
Hmm.
And in
Wow.
our world of, ministers and practitioners and people who are in this, church world and new thought world, it's like we just think, oh, I'm in service and I have to say yes to everything. But, one of the songs that I wrote years ago, N.O. is my new yes. One of the lines from that song is, how good is my giving? How authentic, how
Hmm.
true when I cheat me just to please you.
Ooh,
And that,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the pandemic was really a time to shuffle the deck, almost. Like, we had this opportunity to be with ourselves, and can't say yes to things because nothing was going on. And then now and I know it's been a while, but it feels like I'm just coming out of that whole
I agree.
period.
Me too.
But
Me too.
I'm like weighing it out. There is this new level of discernment, and I think for us introverts, that it does feel like that pause gave us sort of permission to examine our ability to know what's best for us, as far as being in large crowds of people, or saying yes to things just because we're serving. And yeah,
Yeah. So
so maybe.
I'm just trying to get clearer on that, what is really true for me, and cuz my word is authenticity. That is, I always want to be authentic. And if I'm not doing things from that place, I can feel it in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I believe your body knows before your mind does. And a lot of times your body will start to give you a sensation like a just sort of a knot in your stomach. But then your mind comes, oh no, I have to do this, and oh, you already said yes to this, and it'll somehow just make it squish down that body feeling first. But
Yeah.
I believe that the pandemic was this reboot for all of us to look at everything and to really just see what is true. And I just find, like, with my retreats or with any workshops, people, I think, really wait until they feel like, okay, this is a yes. Whereas
Yeah.
they used to sign up for things, months and months ahead of time. Now it's like they almost wait till that week to go, or
Mm-hmm.
even the day before,
Yeah.
which I
So
feel
maybe
bad
you
about.
could you could open us up with a little song that would bring us into this moment, this growing edge
Sure,
moment.
I would love to. So I love this. I found this quote from Leonard Bernstein, who said, "This will be our reply to violence, to
Mm.
make music more intensely, more beautifully, more devotedly than ever before." And I just feel
Wow.
like that's what I'm now trying to do with all the music that I do, of just really look at that any song that we sing, we're bringing light to all the darkness that's going on in the world. And so, one of the songs that I do a lot just to remind myself of my blessings is this one. And I think I'm going to do the track, because then you get
I'm
all the.
so grateful.
let me do it with my little singers here with me. Go. So here's my magic wand for any of you out there that says you can sing. Wait a minute. Listen. Wait. Oh, it died. There it is. So if anyone ever told you couldn't sing, now you can. So Allie, you have to make sure you're muted because we can't sing together, unfortunately. But
Thank God.
Sing along with me. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Let me show you the movements that go with this. I am so blessed. You bring spirit in from the side. I am so blessed. And then you fill up your container. I'm so grateful. Like this. I am so blessed. You just open up your arms all the way. I am so blessed. Then you do a gratitude of a namaste. Grateful. I am so blessed. That's the whole thing. You just go, I am so blessed. So blessed. I am so blessed. So grateful. I am so grateful for all that I have. Open up your arms. I am like my little blessed sign. You just got that. I am so blessed. I am so namaste grateful. And release. I am so blessed. Got it? Do it again. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Do it again. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Fill up that container. So grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Gratitude. I am so grateful. Release it. I am so blessed. Now bring it into a prayer. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. So blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. So blessed. So just imagine using this as a morning prayer to just say, I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. I'm so grateful. I am so blessed. So just take a breath right now with Allie and me. And just think about, what are you grateful for? Right now in this moment, just think about that. Just drop it in that place of gratitude and think about a few things that maybe in this moment you can be grateful for. I think that's a really great spiritual practice, every morning to just start your day with just saying, okay, name 2 things that you're grateful for. And then I think an ending practice at the end of the day, this comes from my friend Rachel Naomi Remen, a wonderful author. And, she has this exercise that I think is great, that at the end of the day, you ask yourself 3 questions. When you put your little head down on the pillow, you just say, what surprised me today? What inspired me today? And what opened up my heart? What opened my heart? And I think that when you have any kind of a practice in the morning or the evening, it just sets you up to be looking for those things. If you know at the end of the day, you're going to look for what surprised me today, or what inspired me, or what touched my heart. I think you really start to look at the world through gratitude, because you know you're going to ask yourself those questions at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Gosh, just, hearing that song, which for many of us, I know I've gone to countless services at CSLs and independent New Thought centers where they use that song at closing and or somewhere in the service, and it's just sort of this gratitude anthem, this kind of, it's like a portal that takes us into that field of gratitude, and we have so much to be grateful for. And I was reading your newsletter yesterday, and I was hearing, read the first part, and heard you talking about all the things that are going on in the world that are just causing us to feel so helpless and so sad and so frustrated. And then you sort of did a reboot, and then you went into your newsletter in, with what you wanted to share, which was your gratitude for, everything that you've got going and your life. And I know many of us use this time as a time to reflect on that. And so when you were asking me and everyone, what are you grateful for? I was thinking my family, my family, all the creature comforts that we take for granted.
Take for granted. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
And, when you say take a moment to count your blessings, I can really feel the sort of the paradox or the contrast of that. So many of us and so many people that I bump into seem to be more addicted to counting their burdens. So
Totally.
it's all about, what's wrong or what isn't right or what's missing or what they're not content about. And so, having music like you create is that, reminder of what's really important in our lives. And I know that that's why my children and some of my congregation have purchased your CDs, and because it's easy to get sucked into the world of effects, into what's going wrong, and we need to balance it out.
Yeah.
Can't deny that those things are going on, but music especially is a way to bring us into that place of feeling our feelings. And especially with music like yours, it's such affirmative. So thank you.
And that's what I try to do, because I truly believe we have to acknowledge what's happening. That's why with all the talks I'm doing recently, it's like I literally get up on, on the platform and say, how can I be talking about gratitude with all that's going on? We have to look at what's happening, acknowledge what's happening, not do any kind of spiritual bypass of going, it's all good, which I just want to slap people when they say that. That's one of my little pet peeves. It's all good. Well, it might eventually be all good, but right now, to acknowledge what's happening. And then from that place, realize, okay, there are blessings in my life. And I think it's so interesting to me that, what is it about how we're wired that, like you tend to count your blessings. You tend to get to that place after something has been taken away, and then it comes back. So I just was thinking about, when your power goes out, that you just, you think nothing of. You walk into a room and you flick on the light. But when the power goes out and all of a sudden you have no electricity, and then what is it when it comes back on? You're like, oh, thank you, God. It's like those kinds of things. And I think I don't want to be any kind of a person that has some physical thing happen. And this has happened to me before, where some physical thing happens where, you're in pain or you're laid up now. And then when you all of a sudden get back to health, you're just, you are so grateful, and I just think it's like to live your life in that state of awe that every morning when you wake up and you're breathing, what an incredible miracle that is.
Yeah.
And, in our philosophy, that's our main philosophy. Whatever you focus in on grows.
Exactly.
Period. That's like the bottom line to what all this is about. So whatever you focus in on grows. So if you're focusing in on what's not working, guess what? Yeah.
Well, I was reading a little bit on your website, your bio, and a little bit about you. And you were sharing that you had been invited to have this Sunday gig long ago, and that sort of brought you into the New Thought world. And that we'll get to more about that, but that opened you up to more of this positive thinking, I would imagine. And you know but what was Karen's life before that? What was it like? What was your journey? Where were you a spiritual kid? Did you have any spiritual bones in your body? Were you even aware of
Not
that? What's been
at
your evolutionary?
all. No, not at all. I just not at all. I love how I'm getting all these reflections. That I have a little this little stained glass thing, and all of a sudden it's just kind of coming up. It's great.
It
No, I
is.
wasn't spiritual. All I did, Allie, was I was a competitive swimmer. I was training for the Olympics. I mean, and I still swim to this day. I'm an open water swimmer, and do all of that, and I'm on a swim team. But no, all I did from 6 years old on, as I was a competitive swimmer. So I swam 4 hours a day, and I had absolutely no no musical training, nothing, and no spiritual aspect to my life at all. My parents, it just wasn't part of their consciousness of having that.
Mm-hmm.
And, the story that I actually mentioned in that newsletter was the turning point in my life. And I always have to think sometimes that, there's just God in the mix here of like how things happen in your life, and, the stages, the zigzags of your life of what happens. But when I was 16, Carole King, the singer-songwriter Carole King, moved on my street. And I lived in Laurel Canyon in LA. And I became the babysitter for her children. And so she was remodeling her house or her recording studio. And she somehow needed to store her piano for what she thought was going to be just a month or so. And I guess had, behind my back, talked to my mom. And I came home one day from school, and here was her piano in my bedroom.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, and because of that, all of a sudden, it's because she knew I wanted to do music, but, we never talked about music. It wasn't a thing in our relationship. But all of a sudden now I have a piano in my bedroom, and I took all of that discipline and focus that I had from swimming and applied it to teaching myself how to play piano. And I, just didn't know anything, but I just learned how to play chords and started writing these little teenage angst, songs. And, all of a sudden discovered music. And I couldn't sing my way out of a paper bag. And I remember her advice to me was, she said, it doesn't matter if you don't sing well, if you write your own songs. She said, just look at me, look at Bob Dylan. If you write your own songs, you can get away with anything. So I just became a songwriter at, 17 years old. I was writing all these little songs and performing, and I just loved it. And, I didn't get into my spiritual world until about, I guess about 23 years ago or so, when, I was playing blues bars. I mean, that's the other thing, I'm singing all these blues songs every night. Well, my life was in the toilet because I'm just affirming every night that, everything's awful. And, just did not have any spiritual path at all. But Melissa Felipe, if you know her, she was a music director at a little church in Napa. And she called me and said, hey, I've got this gig for you. I have to sub. I need to find a sub. And, if you could just come and play a few happy songs. And I'm like, I don't do church. I don't know what this is. I'm a rock and roll singer and blues singer. And she said, just come and just sing a few happy songs. And so I just came in with, I don't even know, what songs I sang that day. But it was like, oh, wow, these people are really happy and positive, and I liked the message. And I went, maybe this is a fit. And she started subbing to me more and more. And then eventually she left that church to become a music director of the Santa Rosa Church. And I wound up, that's when my life started, of this spiritual path of hearing these messages every week and going, wow, I just totally relate. And then after I had gone through all my happy songs, I started to listen to the minister's message and go, well, why don't I write a song about what she's going to talk about? And that's when it started. That's when it started for me.
Wow.
And
Well,
see, I want to be the earworm that is in everyone's mind when you go to those dark places, when you start having your inner critic beat you up, that all of a sudden you hear a Karen Drucker song saying, I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I mean, that's what I want, is that you start to reprogram your mind with, oh, I'm going to that negative place. What can I do? Oh, I can sing this song and it's going to remind me of who I am.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just as you're singing it, I've heard that song so many times, and not just from your mouth, but in my mind,
That's
because
what I want.
that, so you do have a little earworm in this ear, because your music has really, as I mentioned, has been a soundtrack for so many of us. And in our family, it's that, I mean, I don't know, it's been 30 years, I think. I don't know how long it's been, but I'm thinking about that long, since we purchased your first, CD, Songs of Spirit, probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
And at the Bear Valley Church in Big Bear Lake, California, I was in the choir, and we used to learn all of your songs and sing them. And so, yeah, you have planted those seeds in our hearts. And thank you for that. I've got to stop saying thank you. Even though it's Thanksgiving, I need to hold
I can hear thank you.
this.
That's okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's genuinely just such a heartfelt thank you, because our family's been through a lot of ups and downs. My youngest son was ill for 2 years, in and out of the hospital with a spinal cord tumor. I mean, it was just, and your music was there. It's been in hospital rooms. It's been in, meditation groups for us. It's been in the different churches.
That's what you're saying about hospital rooms. That's actually one of my main mission statements, because I really did a more of a turn with my music around when my mother was going through cancer treatments, and I started writing specifically healing songs for her. She had a mantra that said, I'm healed, whole, and healthy. And I went, well, that's a song. And I just went, I am healed, whole, and healthy. I relax and visualize. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. And so I recorded that for her, so that when she was doing her chemo treatments, she was listening to that, and that's what I thought. It's like, well, why can't it be when you're going through those kinds of health challenges that you have music that's supporting you, saying, joy fills every cell in my body, and all these different kinds of healing songs. And that's really one of my main missions, is getting my music into more places like that.
Well, we're about to go to a break, and I just want to say before we do, my husband's mother, Carolyn, died a couple of years ago, and Michael was with her and, holding her during the process. And on his playlist were your songs and other New Thought artists. And, you've been there, and you don't know, but you've been there for probably countless people going through really tough times medically, making a transition.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah. Well,
all right. So we're going to jump off and take a moment, and we'll be back with Karen in just a minute.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Spiritual Center Kitchener, Om Center for Spiritual Living La Mesa, Satya Center, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for making New Thought Media Network a place to be. Please come be you. And remember, like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Free my mind, open my heart with the whispers of truth. To live a conscious life, to live a conscious life on the growing edge. On the growing edge.
And now, here's Allie.
We're back.
Back.
So, talking about your mother and, kind of being inspired by what she was needing at that time and taking her mantra and making it into a chant. So you seem to, your music is directed by or inspired by the needs of those around you.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what else has inspired you to create some of the songs that we all maybe know but don't know where it came from?
Well, interestingly enough, as much as it looks like I'm being inspired by other people, the truth is, what I always say every time I start a concert is you get to see what all my issues are, because that's what I'm writing about. Because I learned a long time ago with affirmations, I would put little yellow stickies all over the place, all over my house and on the mirror. You have thin thighs, you're a foxy babe, money is coming to you. And I realized if I just looked at those things, it didn't do anything. But when I was able to sing it and embody it that way, it would literally embody it in my being. And it would be like what we were just talking about, an earworm. I would start to sing, money is coming to me easily and effortlessly, money is coming to me. And I would just say that line, but I would sing it, and it would just be like I would be hearing that all day long. Because that's what an earworm is. It just gets in there and it just kind of keeps playing all day long. So a lot of the inspiration is really what it is that I'm going through, and the fact that other people relate to that. I think the more personal I make it, the more people come up to me and say, oh my God, you wrote that for me. But the truth is really, it's like, it's my issue. I'm really trying to work through this. And the way that I work through it is I write about it. And, and then, and it is true. I do actually, when I'm writing a song, I start to think about someone. Like a lot of my healing songs have been inspired by, when we're talking about people going through a hard time physically or I just have this vision of like someone in their hospital room, like all their family has left and now their surgery is the next morning, and somehow they wake up at 2:00 and it's dark and their gremlins in their mind just come in with worry. And, I just look at that and think, if there's a song that could say, like I have one that I wrote with Gary Lynn Floyd, be not afraid, for I am with you always. Be not afraid, for I am always with you. Be not afraid, forever and always I am with you. Be not afraid. And so I think about, writing something like that, that they're going to maybe remember that song and put it on repeat over and over until they fall asleep. And that's
Yeah.
what inspires me.
There should be a prescription written at the doctor's office, and listen to these 5 songs.
Well, actually, someone made me up a little doctor's, how they write out prescriptions, and they had a thing, Dr. Drucker prescribes, listen to I Am So Blessed 3 times a day. Here you go. Here's your prescription.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Actually, I should really make that up. That is a kind of fun idea. But yeah, I mean, that's what I want. And I mean, someone said, God, you have a song for absolutely every condition. And it's true, I really do. It's like I just look at the different things that have gone on in my life that I want to affirm. And then people have come to me and said, this is what I'm going through. Can you write a chant for me? And, if I have a few lines that, like I actually, on my last album, I have a song, a friend of mine came to me and said her friend was making her transition. And her line that she said to everybody, she would go up to everyone and say, do you know that you're beautiful, true, and divine? You just need to know you're beautiful, true, and divine. And she said, could you write a little chant? And I came to Gary Lynn Floyd, who is one of my favorite songwriting partners, and we wrote this little chant that just said, you are beautiful, true, and divine. Mm-hmm. You are beautiful, true, and divine. When I look in your eyes, I see you shine. You are beautiful, true, and divine. And so we recorded this and gave it to her before she passed. But then I called Gary and said, this song is calling to me. It's not just a chant. It feels like it's a song. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that's interesting. Sometimes these little chants will just come out, but then it feels like there's more to say. And then we wrote a full song around it. And, so I just think it's whatever is up in the world right now that I will feel like I need to tell myself this affirmation. And that's how I write these songs.
So you inspire so many. Who has been your inspiration? Who are some of the people that have really inspired you over the years?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know, musically, people like Bonnie Raitt and Eva Cassidy and those kinds of singers. And within the New Thought movement, Karen Taylor Good and Stowe Daly, they're called Stowe Good, but brilliant songwriters. Gary Lynn Floyd is one of my favorite writers. What he's done with Jamie Lula, some of the songs that they have. But then I think on a personal level, I used to do quite a lot of work with Joan Borisenko, and people like that are doing brilliant work in the world. I've worked with Gene Houston, Alan Cohen. I get inspired by so much. I think I'm just like this little, open being, just always kind of going, ooh, this line and that line. And, and I just always say to people when I teach songwriting workshops, I always say to people, the difference between a songwriter and one who wants to be is that the songwriter always has a pen and paper with them or their iPhone that they can record that idea, and it's an allowing. That's what I think creativity is it's an allowing of saying, I want to be open to, ideas. And all you have to do is just have your mind be open that you will hear yourself or other people say lines that you go, ooh, song title. Ooh, song idea. And I feel like I have a little butterfly net, like, ooh, scoop it. Ooh, there's another one. That's all it is. It's just being open to it and just, giving yourself that permission that you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a singer and not a musician, but I paint.
But see that right there? Wait. That's what I always jump on. When people say, I'm not as soon as you do that, okay, so I'm sorry to jump on you, but this is one of my pet peeves.
Jump away.
Because that's what we do. We just say, oh, I can't do, or I'm not and you literally make that neural pathway in your mind that says, oh, I'm not. And you keep affirming that every time you say it, because you'll just say it as an aside. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not a cook. I can't do math. I can't. But you say that over and over. And I truly believe, this is kind of weird little thing that I have, but I truly believe there is a magic genie, a magic spiritual genie that is living up in your head or in the ethers that goes, yes, master, I'll make it so. And it will
Oh.
literally, if you think you can't sing, you'll be in a group of people and it's like, okay, let's all sing together. And you'll have one person sitting next to you that you have somehow manifested that might give you a look like this, like that you'll go, oh, see, I can't sing. But what happens is you're literally putting like, cotton balls in your ear every time you do that so that you literally can't even hear. And I truly believe I'm on this mission to say that everybody can sing, everybody can be creative. We just have to stop. We have to just start allowing ourselves to hear what we say about that judgment, that belief that we keep affirming. So with
Right.
that, go ahead. You said
Okay.
you can.
All right. So let me just restate that. I am a singer in my own private space.
There you go.
And sometimes within my family's, we were driving to ice cream last night and we were all singing along to Adam Levine. So we do sing. So
Good.
there you go. And what I was sort of getting to was I know that as I'm painting, because that's what I do, I seem to be in a particular place where I'm just open, to maybe the muse is whispering in my ear, or, there's something that's inspiring me. And then there's this delicious feeling of like this download of ideas of what wants to come through.
Right.
And like you with your phone or your pad, that I'm just like streaming all of this energy that comes through into a painting. And it's just such an amazing process to bring the invisible into time and space.
Isn't
And
that the
so
best?
it is. So whether we're like a visual artist or a music artist or floral artist or whatever it is, there's that wonderful thing that we share. And people that aren't what we would call creative, maybe, that don't think they're creative, are creative.
Yes.
Because like you said, we're always creating something with what we're saying and what we're giving our attention to. And I just want to sort of just connect in that area of how delicious it is to be in that creative space and to be in that sort of open space. And so this is my long-winded way of getting to the question. Do you believe that you get inspiration from a higher source or from your higher self or angels? Or, I mean, you sing about angels. And so I'm just wondering, what's the more mystical or woo side of
Yeah. Great question.
inspiration?
Yeah, I would say that is what it is. That it does come from, well, first of all, I have to be open. I have to be open. And one of the things that I wrestle with in my personal life is being too busy. So my mind is just chewing on, oh, I've got to talk this weekend and I've got to work on that and I've got to, so that I really believe that what happens for me is when my mind is caught up in other things, it's almost like the door is closed to that creative side of me. And I'll tell you, Allie, when the pandemic happened, I went through, on one hand, I was thrilled that I had time back because I had the entire year booked. I didn't have hardly any time off. I had just done that to myself. And all of a sudden I was getting this time back. But on the other hand, I went through this real funk because I thought, well, I'm not performing and people aren't really buying CDs anymore. And it kind of like a big, gigantic, why bother? Why bother writing?
Mm-hmm.
It's like no one's going to hear it. I didn't understand yet about streaming and how to get my music out there in a different way. It was like I just felt like I was in this block. And what was so amazing was my friend Gary Lynn Floyd said, why don't we just start writing once a week on Zoom? Just with no intention of letting it, like, we don't have to think about recording it or anybody else is going to do it, hear it. Just write, just to write. And I'm telling you, it was just this medicine for my soul to get back into exactly what you were just talking about, the unseen, like nothing is there. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes this thing. Like, where did this come from? And I have to really believe that it was because I wasn't so busy that all of a sudden it was like 11 o'clock, show up, and sometimes nothing would come in our hour of being together, but sometimes, something would come out of nowhere. And it was just like, where did that come from? I mean, one of the most powerful, beautiful songs that I feel that manifested from this time is this song called Every Step is Holy, Every Breath is Life, Every Moment Precious, when held up to the light. I mean, just this beautiful chant that just emerged out of nowhere. And so, yes, I do believe it comes, from this other. I mean, when I even look at the line I told you before about the "and oh is my new yes" of how good is my giving, how authentic, how true. I didn't write that. That was my spirit saying, "Girlfriend, you need to hear this line. you need to have this come through you to be able to say this to yourself over and over." Yeah.
Gorgeous. So what you take people on adventures through your workshops, through the retreats that you do. Is there some person or something that happened in one of your workshops or something like that touched your heart? Like I'm sure there's been many, but a sort of a standout person that had a shift or came to a healing whilst in one of your retreats or workshops?
Yeah. Well, I would say that's my biggest motivation in doing these workshops, these women's retreats, is to see people come in a certain way and then watch I'm all about transformation, whether it's me or somebody else. I just love seeing I love before and after pictures. You ever watch the HGTV? I love seeing here's what the room looked like before and here's what it looks like afterwards. I mean, I can't wait to get to the reveal. Yeah. And it's the same way with these retreats that you see people come in, with this you could feel the burden of whatever is happening with them. And then to see just the gradual transformation of just like, even I have an exercise where people walk around, towards the end of this retreat and they'll say, the beauty I see in you is, and the person has to receive it. And then they have to say, yes, I am. And the beauty I see in you is, and the person has to say, yes, I am. Sometimes I put myself in the circle, but sometimes I just watch it. And you see people's faces just go, really? That's how you see me? And you just see this like layers come off. And, by the end, it's just to see them walk out different is just. So do I have a specific incident? I would have to say there's so many that I can't even think of one, because it's almost like every single weekend will be for all of us, that there will just be that shift. I have a song that I do sign language a lot in my songs. And I have this one song, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I've let go of my past and I celebrate who I've become. And the sign language for who I've become is that. Wait, let me do it.
Wow.
It's just boop. And that's what I think is so interesting about a retreat or a workshop or coming to church or hearing a talk like what we're doing, that you could have some thing that you've been working on for years and years and years. And all of a sudden, it just like the truth, that aha moment just lands at that moment. And instead of it's like this big upheaval and this big thing, all of a sudden it's just boop, boop. It just shifts like that.
Right.
And that's what I think is so amazing.
I want to hear more about your the things that you've got coming up. And before that, I'd love it if you would play another song.
I'd love to.
Could it be a gratitude song, because it is Thanksgiving this week?
Let me the gratitude. Are you looking for a specific, like the gratitude before me song or whatever? Can I?
I love all of them.
Let me do a new. This is off my last album. Let me do this one. This is one of my favorites. So this is easy. So once again, sing with me. Dude, it matches my outfit too. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. That's the whole thing. Sing with me now. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Ain't that the truth? Sometimes that's all it is. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Got it, sing it again. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Here's the next part. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. So blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. So blessed. I am 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 blessed. So blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. Hey, Ann. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. So blessed. From the top. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. The second part. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I'm so blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I'm so blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Ah.
Wow.
Well, see, I want my songs to be like you could just close your eyes and just keep singing that over and over, you know, just to go. Sometimes that's all it is. I just need to stand right where I am, look around, look at the clouds, and just realize it.
Yeah.
And these are all reminders, you know, just reminding, because we all know this stuff, but it's like if you have a song that can remind you of that, bring you back to center.
Mm-hmm. So what does the world need now? I know the song, you know, Love, Sweet Love, and obviously that's what the world needs now. But as you sit at this, we all sit at this moment of the now where all of this stuff is going on in the world that doesn't make sense. And we're always at the sort of the green growing edge of our own becoming, our own evolution. And what is the message that Karen would like to share with the world at the moment? What
Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. When I come from peace, peace is all that I see. Peace begins with me. That's it.
All right, that's it. That's the message.
Peace begins with me. Love begins with me. I mean, it's just when we keep putting it out there and going, if only our leaders, or if only, you know, this would happen, and the, you know, our two political parties could come together. If, you know, but it's got, the only way that I can deal with it is to just keep going. It begins with me. What can I do that's peaceful today? Mm-hmm. What can I do that's loving today?
So obviously you've got all of these resources, these songs that are just like right there for you. Are there other things that you lean on to sort of keep you going, to support you when you're in a downward place?
Oh yeah, and I get there. I go there. Definitely. And that's what's so funny. Sometimes I'll be beating myself up for something and then I just go, "Oh my god, but you wrote I will be gentle with myself," and you're beating yourself up and say what an idiot you are, you fraud. So, I just sometimes, I mean, it's very funny because some of my friends will say, there's this Karen Drucker song you should listen to. And I'm like, shut up. But, when I get in that place, the best thing I can do for myself, for me, water. Water's my healer. If I can get in the water and swim, if I can be in nature, I mean, where I live in Northern California, we do these walks every night, and I go to Muir Woods and I just am in those enormous redwoods and I'm smelling that air of the trees, the smell that gives off. When I go to nature, it just like heals me so I can deal again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, for me, it's nature and just coming, everything is about coming back to my heart.
Yeah. So we're just about at the end of our show, and I'd love you to share a little bit about how people can connect with you, how they can work with you. What do you got going on?
Thank you. Well, the best way that people can connect with me is just to go to my website, which is karendrucker.com. Thank you very much, Michael, for putting that up. And sign up on my email list. And what I do every month is I send out a newsletter with a little essay of something that I'm thinking about. But I send out my calendar. I send out a free song. And this next year, I'm really committing to my women's retreats and doing, just a spring one in Asilomar, which I just love. Asilomar is my happy, happy place. So, and I'm doing them, that's the other thing that happened for me, Allie, in this pandemic. I'm doing everything a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. It fills my heart a lot more when it's a smaller group, an intimate group. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my retreats now are just like 20 people, so yeah, so I'm doing retreats all throughout next year, and all that stuff would be on my website. So,
right.
And doing singles, I just recorded Peace Begins With Me. I'm going to put that out, probably next month.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank you for the years that you've given all of us with your heart and your song and your music. You're such a blessing to us all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. And what you're doing is beautiful. I really appreciate being on. So thank you.
Awesome. And thank you to you, whoever you are watching. It's been so lovely to hear Karen and her music and the gift that she gives us through her great connection with spirit. And thank you, Karen. Thank you, New Thought Media Network, and Michael, our producer. And next week, my guest will be Dennis Merritt Jones. So see you next week, Growing Edge Live. Mwah. Peace and blessings. Love you.